Namaskar, I am Dr. Mansi. This is the eighth topic in my organizational behavior lecture series, Organizational Conflict. For the first time, instead of uploading one long video, I have divided the topics into short focused parts from 8.1 to 8.7 to make the concepts easier to understand and more accessible for students and learners like you. So let's begin with the topic. In today's environment, conflict is not just inevitable, it's strategic. Whether it's internal dilemmas, team disputes, or departmental clashes, or inter-firm rivalries. Understanding conflict equips the future managers and leaders to navigate the complexity, negotiate power, and drive performance. So, this session explores the types and levels of conflict that shape modern organizations and how you, as an MBA professional, can manage them smartly. So, these are the contents of the presentation. We'll begin with understanding conflict, and we'll also throw some light upon what do we mean specifically by organization conflict. We'll further explore into various views of conflict, for example, traditional view, interactionist view, and resolution focused view. Then we'll talk about what are the various levels of conflict, the types of conflict, and of course, the sources of conflict, and what are the types of interpersonal conflict. So, here we are talking about levels of conflict, types of conflict, and also the types of interpersonal conflicts, and also how we can resolve these interpersonal conflict by studying the Thomas-Kilmann conflict resolution model. What is conflict? There has been no shortage of definitions of conflict, but one common to most is the idea that conflict is a perception. More interestingly, we can say if no one is aware of a conflict, then it is generally agreed then no conflict exists. Also, needed to begin the conflict process are opposition or incompatibility and some form of interaction. So in simple language, we can define conflict is more than just an argument and it is also a perceived threat. So now what do we mean by perceived threat and why we are calling conflict as a perceived threat and more than just an argument? Because conflicts involve perceived threats to our well-being and also survival because they stay with us until we face or resolve them. We respond to the conflict based on our perceptions and situations, not necessarily to an objective review of the facts. In so, what is conflict? How do we define conflict? Conflict is defined as a process that begins when one party perceives the another party is or may negatively impact something the first party cares about. It has three components. Number one, perception. Number two, opposition or incompatibility. And number three, interaction. So it is having two parties. Number one thing is there is mismatch of perception. What the A person is thinking, the person is not thinking in the same way. Then the opposition. They are having the opposite perceptions to on one single thing. And the third thing that they are interacting. So this is how we define conflict. What do we mean by organizational conflict? This is a condition at workplace that includes misunderstanding and also miscommunication among the employees. Like employees are there in the organization and they are having some sort of miscommunication, and also because of miscommunication, the misunderstanding is also there. Due to it could be like the contradictions could be actual or the perceived, as it is written on the screen as well. Actual or perceived contradictions in the needs, interest, and also values is referred to as organizational conflict. So this is how we talk about in the upcoming session. We are going to discuss at length about the various aspects of organizational conflict, First, we are supposed to understand the nature. We are supposed to understand nature, and after exploring nature, the levels and also the types. And after we have identified which particular type of conflict is there in the organization, which particular strategy we are going to take to resolve that conflict. So these are the references which I've used in, making this lecture. If you want to explore more on the topic, you can take the help of these references. I hope this session helped you understanding conflict as a perception mismatch. And the next lecture in this series will explore 3 views of conflict. For example, traditional, interactionalist, and managed view. Thank you so much for watching.